It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored, and you want to do it?
Yes, I shall, because I want to do this. It's Go Talk. Go Talk right now.
CeeLo Green in the building.
A.K.A. Gnarls Barkley in the building.
What's up, family?
Hey, man.
Yes.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Gnarls Barkley, I was telling you in the elevator. I approached you, and I think I shut down the whole lobby because I was singing, pictures.
Yes.
Atlanta. We've had a lot of people try to do tribute albums and theme albums. What made you decide to do this?
Well, okay. We decided as a group, myself and Danger Mouse, who's also from Atlanta.
Yeah.
From the east side. I think he went to Redan.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And people don't know that. But so we're both natives of the city, and we were thinking, okay, we want to continue in the theme. I mean, the theme being the albums were named after television shows. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a double entendre for Atlanta, because the first album was Saint Elsewhere, the second one was The Odd Couple, and Atlanta being from where we're from, and also a television show. Right. So that's kind of like the simple version of it. But it was really his idea. If I'm going to be totally honest, I initially wanted to name the album Natural Causes. Okay. Because, this was going to be the final album as well. So, it wasn't going to be dying or moving on for any ill reasons, just because it was time.
So why is this the last album?
Well, I guess it's the last album on the Atlantic. Not the last album that we can do.
Gnarls Barkley lives on.
Yes.
But in the current situation.
For sure.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you decided, because we were talking about some of the songs, it's kind of like a discography, but then sometimes I'm getting like 3-6 Mafia vibes. Sometimes I'm getting like soundtrack vibes, pictures. Ray says now he wants to go and ride the MARTA now.
Rob, now
he's never ridden the MARTA train, so now he wants to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I want to look out the window.
And think about it.
Just think about it.
Okay. You should.
You are, to me, in hip-hop, one of the most prolific abstract storytellers out now. And with this new album, it's like a church sermon. You're sitting there and you're like, yo, was he in my living room? Is he knowing what I'm going on? How do you pull that out from just the ashes? Like, how do you make this happen?
Well, I think, of course, to be a professional, you have to profess a thing, you know what I mean? And so, music is, a formal education and training and interest, and, you know what I mean? And so are people. And I just think ultimately, we all in the people business, and so I care about people. And I'm like, how could I contribute? I mean, how could I give closure? How could I give clarity? I mean, how can I inspire? How can I contribute? You know what I mean? So, and I think just in simpler terms, just put some paint where it ain't. And that's kind of why I continue to pursue, the roads less traveled, for the sake of, black culture and industry and, excellence at large,
We got more with CeeLo Green. The Atlanta album, Gnarls Barkley, is out right now on all platforms. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. CeeLo is in the building. Gnarls Barkley, the new album, Atlanta. The song, Cyberbully,
yes,
gave me 3-6 Mafia vibes.
I know why.
The flow. Why is that?
Okay, so the story behind that song is I wanted to have something that had kind of like a rap representation.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do something different, as far as, I really wanted this album to be eventful, being that it would be the last. You know what I'm saying? Until further notice. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to do a couple of different features, people who I liked, who I thought was dope, you know what I'm saying? And who inspired me. So 3-6 Mafia was one of them groups, so we all have been friends, for a long time. Goodie Mob, shouts out to the Mob. We did our first tours with 3-6 and, Gangsta Bull. I mean, that's like a sister to us. And Paul and Juice and all them, they like family. Right. I mean, so anyway, to make a long story short, I was really inspired because the bounce of it kind of made me feel like 3-6. And I was like, it'll be a great idea to do a record. So I really initially wanted them on the record, and I actually kind of did a little part of Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I heard some Bone Thugs in there too.
So I knew that they had a rivalry back in the day, and I said, man, what if I could be the bridge that kind of really brought them together on a song together?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was too many moving parts and it didn't work. So the next best thing was to pay the homage in the last verse of Cyberbully. So I says, I got the pack from DJ Paul. Keep the lines open, he may call. I shout out, don't bring no birds around the Scarecrow because he ain't got no brain. Scarecrow is Lord Infamous,
right.
Paul's brother who passed on.
Right.
And then you thought I was a nice guy, but I'm a gangster boo. And of course, we were shouting out gangster boo. So I figured that was the best way that I could pay the homage and respect that I have for them.
So I want to piggyback off of cyberbullying and even perfect timing. I know you said this is a homage to Atlanta, but you mentioned natural causes because that was the initial thought. And there's a lot of lyricism in here that talks about like death almost and space and heaven. So what was your mindset when writing this storyline? Because it kind of gives me more of those, like you're just thinking outside of your body.
Yeah, I think, it's ethereal, and I'm just kind of like always using the platform of Gnarls to, let me say this. Danger Mouse's production, it compels me. And before I know it, it's an involuntary action for me to be deeply, deeply introspective. Mm-hmm. And I just obey it. And that's a lot of how I get the work done. But it's a very vulnerable place, so to strip down to your soul and be honest, when people would, seemingly would prefer to lie better. I mean, they can be confronted with the truth. Yeah. The truth is so definitive, like it just kind of stops there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I was even talking to my son in the car on the way over here, and I was just like, but yeah, I know we confront a lot of truths, but I try to write stories with the silver lining too. It's still hopeful, yeah. But we have to, acknowledge, like all of the many elements that it entails, and so death and transition and pain and regret and anger and frustration and hopelessness and helplessness. This varied spectrum of emotions. I just want to kind of cover the gamut if I can. You know what I mean? And I'm just. Ultimately, I'm not any one category. I'm saying a singer, rapper. I can do them all, but what I truly do profess is songwriting. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I proclaim to be. So, it's a vicarious way to just be expressive and be expansive on behalf of Black excellence. Yeah.
We got more with CeeLo. When we come back, it's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. Gnarls Barkley new album, Atlanta, is out right now. CeeLo, along with Danger Mouse, doing another project. Bonnie just touched on it, and I'm glad that she did because there's one lyric that I kept. It was like, you have the right to take your own life.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, wow. It was very introspective when you talk about how we talk about mental health and things that people are going through and depression and things of that nature. When you're writing and this whole body of work, when somebody's listening to it, because I told you I rode to it in the car, mm-hmm. What do you want that introspective for that individual to be, no matter what stage of emotions they're in?
To first, realize the fact that you're not alone. You know what I mean? And I can go back to the first album, Gnarls Barkley, Saying Elsewhere. And, when you write a song, you're initially or essentially alone in the emotion or the act of expression. You know what I mean? So you could never really truly gauge, like accurately just who it will affect, like and where it will land. You know what I mean? But you have to be obedient and you have to kind of like take the leap of faith. And so many times I've landed on my feet. And so it's kind of like really reinstilled, a faith for me to keep moving forward. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm probably going to keep re-referencing that because it's like I feel like I'm representing a body. You know what I'm saying? Like a community, a culture, a society of people. You know what I mean? And these conversations can't be oversighted. You know what I mean? Like we have to, have this coexist. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't want to compete with myself as CeeLo Goodie from Goodie Mob, CeeLo Green from Lady Killer. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be dynamic. You know what I mean? Like, so it's more of a trifecta, and this is just a cohabitance, and I want to also showcase that you can have range as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, you can safely and confidently address certain topics and scenarios, and you know what I mean? Like, because other than that, we're going to just continue to live our lives on loop. You know what I mean? And we are kind of been restricted and colonized to a couple of different emotions, and that's death, murder, misogyny, and drama. You know what I mean? So like, but if I'm going to use drama, you know what I mean? Like, it won't be the same capacity of drama that drives other content. It'll be the drama of theater. You know what I mean? Like, because I see music, or when I write music, I write as a screenwriter or a playwright, and it's like it's a play. You know what I mean? Like, and it's method. And so, again, Danger Mouse's production has that cinematic quality to where it's these little motion pictures, these little mini movies. I like the way Janelle Monáe had coined this phrase, called an emotion picture. So, yeah. What's up with Janelle?
We got more with CeeLo when we come back. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. Atlanta, out now on all platforms. Danger Mouse, CeeLo Green. We are talking to CeeLo right now in the studio. My question is, here in 2026, in the age of social media and all the things that are making things go viral, if Soul Food came out today, if Black Eyes came out today, if Goodie Bag came out today, what do you think those songs would be doing in America and the world right now? Because I feel like those songs, but people always say, we never have the positive music.
Right.
But at this point, it's like we need positivity more now than ever in light of the current things that are happening in the world, right? If those songs were released in 2026, how do you think they do?
It's really hard to say, because I'll give you an example. Even with this album, Atlanta, I just looked at some comments earlier today, and people are kind of paralleling it with, the current events of, war and so on and so forth.
Right.
And because we kind of touch on that a little bit. But in all honesty, this album has taken 18 years to be released since our last release, but it took about 9 years to record. So some of these songs I've had since 2017 and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And we'll go through them, and then you kind of think that you're detailing your own personal experiences and perspectives and things of that nature. And me as a writer, again, I'm trying to tell a story, and I'm like, okay, if he sends me 2 or 3 things, I'm like, okay, but I need something that fits this bridge or this segue right here. Right. And if I can't, so I may have found it or I may have not, but the final edit, and song sequence, it may not even be. It's kind of like a jigsaw. I mean, like, it may not even be what I intended it to be, and so therefore it allows me the opportunity to have the out-of-body experience with the music as well, because then I get a chance to not just be a fan of myself, right, but be a fan and an admirer and appreciator of the arts. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, like, that's amazing, because so now it's taken on a different kind of life, and the fact that it fell in this time, it is the perfect time, right, no pun intended, for this Gnarls Barkley record, the tone of it, because like we are in some trying times, and I don't know when they'll get better. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I saw a great quote today from Basquiat. He said, art is the way that we decorate rooms, music is the way we decorate time. Mm-hmm. And I also heard a great quote, and I think it was Nina Simone, that says, if the music doesn't reflect the times, then the artists have done the people a great injustice. Mm. So you got to be honest about how it is. But some people, and most people, want music to be a means of escapism. Right. So we can live in denial and use our illusions. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how we cope. And I get that. I'm empathetic with that. You know what I'm saying? But we, it's got to be done. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can start to make amends and make changes. You know what I mean? But so to answer the question, I think something like Cell Therapy, representative of that first Goodie Mob album, I think it would be perfect. I think it was perfect for 2020. Yeah. Because, when we were going through the pandemic, people realized that, this wasn't by chance and happenstance, you know what I mean? Like, but it was actually prophecy fulfilled, you know, because this had been written about and foreseen and foretold. And we picked up on that knowledge, you know what I mean? Like, and of course, it's all about the social and civil service because information is equality. You know what I'm saying? You know, so once we know, you are obligated somewhat to teach. You know what I'm saying? So
we got more
yeah.
with CeeLo when we come back. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. We're talking to CeeLo. We're talking Gnarls Barkley. We're talking Atlanta. The world is cold, man.
Yes, sir.
It's a cold world out there. When I listen to Turn Your Heart Back On, it's like almost like people are so matter of fact. I be seeing people like stranded on the road, broken down, and I just see cars just go by. It's not only because they're afraid of what the setup might be,
right,
but because it's just it's a cold world right now. People don't care about anything but themselves.
That's a fact.
Is Turn Your Heart Back On addressing that the coldness of society? What is the methodology behind that song? Because I think it should be the first single. I'm just saying. I want to go on record. I'm going to go on record.
And you know, I didn't necessarily want people to hear me be so biased so early into the project.
Come on, CeeLo.
Right.
But that's
project.
my one. I mean, like, you know, because, you know, even when something goes unsung or underappreciated, you know what I'm saying, like, I even have those bouts, you know what I'm saying, like, with my own humanity. You know what I'm saying, like, you know, you have to, I can't curse, can I?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
Please don't.
So, you know, basically it's just, you know, in defense. It's like you're trying to protect your own energy, and
right.
Like, I mean, like, and that becomes selfishness. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? Like, you just exclude the feelings, you know, and the circumstances of society and what's going on. But, you know, each one teach one, and, you know, man, like, you know, if something is going on your street, it's a matter of time before it ends up at your front door and in your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you're gonna go outside, you know, you're gonna track some of it back in your house. You may bring it back in your house as an energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and so, you know, so we have to clean up. So I mean, me and my son, I'm glad he practices it too. You know what I'm saying? As young as, you know, at his age. But we keep spare change and dollars, and I mean, like, 10s, 25s. I keep it to give away. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm like, you just really never know. And it's, you know, it would be a bold-faced lie to say, man, I don't have $1 to spare. Wow. Of course I do. And I mean, like, you know, and at any given time, any given circumstance, I think back years, you know, let's see, we just referenced 2020. I'm just like, damn, man, like, you know, but I'm here. It's 6 years later. I mean, like, and every day since then, something could have happened, like, where you have to come to the realization that we have survived by the skin of our teeth. We're so fortunate to be alive. You know what I mean? Like, you can equate life to one other word, and that's chance. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you get up every day, you go out into the world, and you take that chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you take a chance getting on the expressway, getting on the elevator, walking in a restaurant, because people just snapping loose. You know what I'm saying? And so music is medicine. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the ill of society. You know what I mean? Like, and even ADD is a sickness, attention deficit disorder. That's clinically. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's clinical. Right. You know, so therefore, like, we have to try to be the cure. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we got to be the change that we want to see in the world, man. And, like, you know, I said to my creator, man, like, you know, 30 plus years ago, if you would spare my life with this opportunity to do music, you know, I would denounce every dumb thing I had ever done. But because I hadn't always had nothing positive to say. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I was actually a whole fool a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But
we've talked about it.
Yeah,
you're fully Wayne.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm civilized, and I'm just deeply grateful and appreciative. And man, like, I got to represent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, I'm a real man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and a real family man and community man. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we here to represent this city in the best light. And I feel like this is brand ambassadorship, you know, and you know, I want to stand or be seated, you know what I'm saying, like, at the table in front of our flag at the United Nations, representing the city the right way. You know what I mean?
There you go.
And, you know, but in order to do that, we're going to have to be bilingual and speak, you know what I'm saying, like, multiple languages, like, you know, and doing good business is a whole other language.
We got more with CeeLo when we come back. It's Ryan Cameron Uncensored. It is Ryan Cameron Uncensored. Danger Mouse, CeeLo, Gnarls Barkley. Atlanta is the title, out now.
So, I'm going to switch gears because just maybe a couple years ago, we saw you do a grand entrance on a horse.
Yes.
Was that the first time that you've ridden a horse? Did you meet that horse before you got on it? Like,
okay.
Because he was a little excited.
Okay, so what what you talking about is a birthday celebration for Shawty Lo. Who's my dear friend.
Yes.
God bless him, his family, and the city miss him. I wanted to do something personally for me, so I got with the family. I said I want to do this. My good friend Big Will, OG Will at the bounce.
Yep.
Let me see. Look, I'm talking about the bank. It used to be the bounce.
It used to be the bounce. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yep.
so I said, can I do this over here, man? We got to do it on the west side.
Of course.
Where he from? So anyway, I was in talks with him when he was just building that place out. He was like, man, you're gonna be able to drive a car in here and this, that, or the third. And so I was like, oh yes. I just kept that in mind. I'm like, well, I guess if that's the case, then anybody would drive a car. Like I'm gonna come up in here on a horse. You know what I mean? I don't even know. To be totally honest, I don't even know what made me even think to do that. It was just a crazy idea.
Okay.
But I just I had the opportunity to do it. So we went to go to this company, and I was running late, and I didn't really train with the horse. I mean, so
I was on the same page.
I was running late. I got up on. So I did a little walkabout. In the parking lot before we went in. We were late. We were running late.
But you did a warm up lap.
I did a warm up lap.
Okay.
And I said, well, it was already difficult enough for me to get up on the horse in the first place. So I said, since I'm already up here, let's just go for it. So with that, they didn't. I made them trying to just go on my word. Mm-hmm. They neglected to go in and do the diligence.
Yes.
About making sure the floor was
it should have been some turf or something down there. It was
some
just
hay or something.
Yeah, the horse on epoxy was not a good look.
Oh no! So that horse I slipped up on some Hennessy, some damn, some
well, at least we got that cleared up.
Mess on the floor. You know what I mean? So that's what that was.
Okay.
And I'm talking about what was Peter? They was so
Peter
mad
was
at
on
me.
your ass.
Everybody get mad at me, man. So, but the animal wasn't harmed. I wasn't harmed. It could have been a great,
good.
great night. It's funny, and now it's history.
It is for sure
because we had a blast.
All right. We got one more break with CeeLo Green. We'll come back here in just a minute. Don't go nowhere. It's magic. It is Ryan Kevin Uncensored, Gnarls Barkley, CeeLo Green, Danger Mouse, out right now. It's called Atlanta.
One of my first memories of meeting you, and you don't remember this, of course, you was at the Tunnel nightclub in New York City.
Wow.
And you was with Biggie.
Yes.
And I didn't realize at the time that the relationship you and Biggie had as we come up on his anniversary of his death.
Yes.
You were supposed to do a song with him. Like, what was going on with that?
Okay, so Gip just ended up mentioning this on an interview that he just did with Manny Fresh and Juvenile.
Yeah.
So what happened was, we were so closely associated with Bad Boy during that time, and I didn't know it at the time, and neither did he. But we were both Gemini, so it's probably relative in that way. And maybe just something I said resonated with him, but he knew the verse for Get Up, Get Out back and forth. And we went to New York to Outkast's first listening party, and he was standing in the front, and he was singing it word for word. When I got off the stage, he was like, yo, man, I don't know what's going on with you, man, but I would like to work with you. So, I would have been on Ready to Die. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know why that didn't happen, but it's cool. But Puff and those guys, they recognized me and they embraced me. And I went on to do, writers camps with the Bad Boy family. I wrote for Puff on a couple of different occasions, and it was just a lot of love between us. And then it was also some little friendly competition too. Like with the Dungeon family and the Bad Boy camp. So yeah. But it was love. Go ahead, Mama.
I have a question in terms of, because, I reference you as CeeLo Green.
Yeah.
They know Gnarls Barkley. I think you mentioned another CeeLo something.
CeeLo Goodie?
There we go.
Yeah.
So how does it feel, or like why is it that you have so many different titles? And why do people know each of them maybe differently or encounter them differently?
I'm a loud man.
Okay.
Basically.
I just ask because is it confusing sometimes to other people?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think things are 6 degrees of separation. I think, Goodie Mob had an era, like, and those who are affectionate toward that music, they still are diehard, and, that's still alive. And running concurrent, and CeeLo Green is kind of like, master of ceremonies to all of these other different, kind of audibles, what I'm saying, like, of myself and incarnations of myself. So that's important to me, to do all that I can do creatively. Right. I just want to run the gamut. So that's it.
I still think, as we close it, the Electric Kingdom intro.
Oh yeah,
is my favorite. Like when you come, it's like I always tell people, like I know there's a lot of people in the country, but as far as live performances, it's very few can top the Mob.
Yes, sir.
It's very few.
That's true.
I mean, between you and when Gift with the goat pants and and Tebow and Cujo, I mean, still to this day, man, what is the future of the Mob? After this project launches and goes out, would y'all go out and do another tour?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to say that definitively on amongst family. You know what I mean? I'm closing that chapter for myself. I'm saying there's a lot of love and there's a lot of support, but then there's also a lot of irreconcilable difference. You know what I mean? And creative conflict. You know what I mean? And I think everybody needs an ample opportunity to go out and prove themselves right. You know what I'm saying, about themselves. You know what I mean? But you need time to do it. You need time to build. So so no, I think Goodie Mob had run its course. You know what I mean? And then again, I don't really know what the future will hold. You know what I mean? Because the love will always be there. Rico Wade. I'm saying, if he speaks to me, you know what I'm saying, as a friendly ghost and says, he's like, I need you to do this. You know what I'm saying, I would, of course, but just leaning on my own understanding and where I'm at. You know what I mean, professionally and personally, I'm just like, I don't want to overextend myself, and I think I had done all that I really could do within the group and for the group. You know what I mean? I think everybody deserves an ample opportunity to thrive and succeed in their own individual endeavors, and that's it. So, but I'll support them. I just got through supporting Timo for his brand new album that he put out. Where You At, Timo? Right. Zaga brands. Like I'm never gonna disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Or devalue. Or, you know what I mean? The dungeon, the legacy of the dungeon. That's always gonna be important to me. It's a monument. It's the legacy of the city and of a wonderful part of my life. And I never do that, but I just want to be real and just say, nah, I don't really have any ambitions to do it. I have to, it's like you work and then you try to not be exhausted, because once something succeeds, if you're fortunate enough, you know what I mean, then the secondary part is having to get out there and supply that big demand. And that's kind of what happened with Gnarls Barkley. Like, I didn't really know that it would work, but when it did, I was all over the world for about 10 years, you know what I mean? And then went right into television after that. So I kind of, like, Goodie Mob took a hiatus kind of like by default. It really wasn't by choice, but then again, you have to ask yourself, what does everybody do? You know what I mean? But what does everybody do in the meantime? Right. So you have to do what you can and do what you should. You know what I'm saying? What do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. Right. So, you won't be able to realize what's possible and what you're capable of unless given the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And so freedom and flexibility will do that for everybody. And I wish everybody success.
Ladies and gentlemen, CeeLo Green.
One time.
Gnarls Barkley, Atlanta, out now. It's Magic 107.5, 97.5, the real sound of Atlanta.